Okay, I just wanted to explain one more thing. If you put tennis balls on the bottom of a chair, it eliminates noise, which can be very distracting for students like Thomas. First station is the sight station. So students would be given color cards and they would be sent to a particular station. There would be 5 stations. This station is the sight station, and a student would need to, Thomas would need to locate the handout that matches with the station. This particular station does not involve having any objects. You just need to look at 3 pictures and try to figure out what they are. The sentence starters are on the handout as well as on the divider, which they will use in their discussion with each other. It looks, I think it is. Okay, and we have 3 pictures. That's the first. So now we're at the touching station, and I will locate my touching station record sheet in my folder. And I will grab, of course, the pencil that is already laid out for me to keep me organized. All right, and the objects that I will be using today are sandpaper for something that is rough, feathers for something that is soft, rocks for something that is hard, and a plastic ruler for something that is rather smooth. Okay, these objects will be placed in paper bags, maybe a larger paper bag for our ruler, and the students would have to be blindfolded. I picked this snazzy scarf, which should also be a soft object. Okay, they could be blindfolded, or they could just close their eyes. It's an option. For Thomas, this would be a very good idea, but he may not feel comfortable. So that's up to the students. Okay, and that is the touching station. There is a word bank given with visual supports, sentence starters as well, but they get to actually just guess. They don't have the object options on this worksheet. They have to try and figure it out for themselves in their investigation. We're at the hearing station. I've located my hearing station record sheet. This particular record sheet does have a word bank with visual supports on it, and these are the objects that the students will guess from, okay? Some of the objects that we'll put into the non-transparent can are rocks, sand or dirt, marbles, and coins. They all have distinct sounds. Should be fun. Okay, so now we're at the smelling station. So Thomas would see the picture of the smelling station and find the handout that says smelling station record sheet. Okay, with a snazzy picture of a guy who smells something funny. Okay, the sentence starters that he's going to be using as language frames for discussion as well as for writing on his handout are: it smells blank, it reminds me of blank, and I think it is blank. Now, in this station, not only will he have a word bank with adjectives and visual representation of those adjectives to use, but he'll also be able to guess which is which. And there are also words and pictures for the actual objects, okay? Those actual objects will be placed inside a non-transparent lidded can with holes punched into them, okay? You can use a smaller can, whatever works. Some of the objects that I chose to use, and you can use any odoriferous item that you want. First, I have pickle juice, which has a distinct smell. This would represent the stinky smell that the students would be smelling. Got some sweet smelling creamy frosting. We have some flowery lotion. You can use perfume, which would represent flowery. And then peppermints, or maybe peppermint oil for minty, okay? It's important to mention that a paraprofessional would have to monitor the discussion among the kids and might need to prompt them with some other questions. But if they can go ahead with the discussion on their own, that's great, but the para is just there on the sidelines to give assistance. Okay, and now we're at my favorite station, the tasting station. I have located my tasting record sheet. The students are given a word bank in this record sheet for the adjectives to describe what they're tasting, but they get to guess what each thing is. We will need our stylish blindfold for for this activity, and you should definitely have spoons on hand so we're not contracting germs. Also important to mention, you should know if your students have any allergies, if anybody in the room is diabetic. Okay, that's extremely important. So the 5 things that the students will be tasting are 1, lemon for sour. That should be fun. Saltines for something salty. Obviously you could use potato chips or any salty treat. For bitter, we have the Baker's chocolate, very bitter. But edible for bitter. We have salsa, mild salsa, very important. We don't want it to be extremely hot, but this is for spicy. And we also have very sweet and creamy frosting that we used before at another station. Okay, and students will discuss their findings and record their answers on the answer sheet. And that is basically end of the stations. Just the only thing that I should mention is they will all regroup during circle time to share out. Thank you.